I think the great thing about my choice to be a host, ibang-iba ang attachment of viewers to actors. With actors, there is a sort of fandom. That's why dinudumog ang tipo ng Ann Curtis, Piolo Pascual, etc. But in my line of work, I'm still able to enjoy a lot of privacy because I'm able to lead a public life, but at the same time, have boundaries in terms of my private life.
So alam mo ba, sobrang interested ako sa perspective mo on health and wellness. Kasi parang may shift ngayon in mindset, especially coming out of the pandemic, of what true health is. And there was this video that you have in your channel and podcast, Paano na ba? Paano na ba?
Paano ba to?
Paano ba to?
Yes.
And you talk about what you wish you knew in your 20s. And you said something about how overworking yourself, not sleeping, and stress is not a badge of honor. And in your 40s, you actually don't remember the last time you got stressed out. So you gave a lot of tips, and I wonder, like, if you knew all those things and incorporated it in your 20s, what you said was super fun. What do you think your life would look like now in your 40s?
I think that if I heard all that advice when I was in my 20s, knowing me, hindi din siguro ako makikinig. I think we're like that in our teens and our 20s, na parang even if those before us share their wisdom of things they wish they did, we're like, no, I want to do it my way. Diba? Parang I think we all have to go through it. And then when we make mistakes or realize na we could have done things better, then we really learn the lesson. But if I did do all that earlier, I think I'd be in a very different place, in the sense that all the hustle kasi in our 20s, we're able to do it because we have more energy, right? Like even running on no sleep for a whole week, easy when we're in our 20s. But also, parang yung kayod na yun is what led me to where I am today career-wise. So if I had, di naman slowed down, but like paced myself more when I was younger, work-wise, I likely am in a very different place now. I have no idea what it would look like.
You have no idea. You can't imagine.
I can't imagine. Because me, until now, and my husband know this, my kids know this, I'm super workaholic talaga. Like, I don't mind working weekends. I work even at night. I have no boundaries, which is terrible. But what I've learned is kanya-kanya tayo ng style. And whatever works for us, whatever we feel most alive from, then that's what we should continue doing.
Okay. In your work, you cover so many topics like this. I think you help Filipinos understand their day-to-day life and help them confront their vulnerabilities. One topic I'm interested in getting your perspective on is this idea of the imperfect woman, or the myth of the acceptable woman. Kasi alam ko malalim yung advocacy mo in women's empowerment. And I think in your case, madaming layers to, because you're a very public figure from a particular generation where appearances are important. So I want to ask, like, how have you navigated your career and life as a woman during moments when you didn't feel so strong or empowered?
I feel like in answering that question, for my generation, so that's like, I'm born 1983, so everyone 1983 and above, meron kaming parang two phases of our growing up life, and that's pre-social media and social media era. So I started working, I started modeling, I was 17. I started TV, I was maybe around 20, 21 years old. And at that time, there was no social media at all. So in a sense, we didn't know this back then, but we were more free to do what we wanted, to make mistakes. Kumbaga, kunyari, if we screw up something on air, it's our bosses after who will scold us and tell us na mali yung ginawa mo, or you should have done this, or don't do this again. Versus now, social media age, we go live, first body pa lang nung show, commercial gap, if you open your phone, there's like hundreds of comments bashing you or praising you at the same time. So very, very different. I think I'm so lucky that I reached pre-social media era in becoming a woman, in discovering myself as a media practitioner, because I guess it was easier to listen to who I am and who I wanted to become pre-social media noise. I think it's much harder now because nga, everything you do, someone has something to say, whether it's someone who knows you in real life or someone who just casually follows you, who saw one reel and then judged you by that reel. I think by the time social media started, I had a better understanding of who I am, who I want to be, what kind of woman I am, and the values that I stand for. And so, naging mahirap to navigate this second half, kumbaga, of the social media age. Pero, buti na lang that first part, parang I kind of figured it out. And so now, having surrounded myself with people I know who have my best interests at heart helps a lot in standing for the things that I still believe in, that I want to fight for, while blocking out the noise na meron.
Do you ever feel a pressure to come off as acceptable or in the eyes of the public?
More so before, for sure. Kasi when I started on television, hindi pa uso yung, parang now kasi, for example, my job as a host, it's more personality based. Like if you're the funny one, you're the smarter one, you're one who can tread serious but light at the same time. Versus before, parang there was only one mold. Kailangan very professional, kailangan may authority, kailangan credible. And so, that's actually something that I've had a hard time doing, adjusting to the now na people are drawn more pag nabubulol yung host or pag like nagkakamali. If there's a very raw reaction, mas nag-resonate yung viewers with that. So I've been super trying to unlearn that perfectionist state na I have to get every line correct. I have to breathe at the right moment so that I can deliver the powerful line well. I have to really think about what I'm going to say without screwing it up. Now, parang people allow for more mistakes. So, I'm trying to unlearn a lot of bad habits of being perfect and put together and got it all figured out that I was trained in before.
You seem to have a lot of interests based on your background. You've juggled a lot of jobs, and as a host, you've covered many different topics. Are you at a point in your career where you feel that there's way too much to do or too little?
Oh gosh. There is not enough hours in the day and not enough days in a week, I feel. I remember when I was growing up, and I would think of 40s, I'd be like, ang tanda na ng 40. Like, that's so like palolo level na, palolo and lola level. But I specifically remember when I turned 40, I really felt that the truth of that life begins at 40 belief saying. Kasi, I guess when you know yourself better, which happens around 40s and you're more comfortable in who you are, parang ang dami mo pa palang pwedeng gawin. And actually right now, I want to do so much more, but I can't due to, of course, physical limitations. Iisa lang ako. And then, of course, as a wife and as a mom, I want to be as hands-on with my kids as possible. I want to spend as much time with them, bring them to school, picking them up in their activities. That's my joy, putting them to bed. And so, there's so much to do. So much to do, especially with how now things are parang much easier to do things because of technology. So we can accomplish so much more, even just at home, diba? In the pandemic, every creator knows this na kaya pala to set up your own lights, computer, audio, lahat, parang ganon. And so the possibilities become more endless as time goes by. And yeah, the problem is more, ang dami kong gustong gawin, pero paano? Iisa lang ako. Yeah, so I have to pick my battles. I have to choose what I really want to give my time to. Kasi time is now, in this stage of my life, time is like the ultimate luxury talaga.
That's so true. I feel that every day too. And I'm in my 30s, so I feel like life has accelerated to a degree that has been hard to grasp. Do you feel that also?
Yeah. This is what I used to think of productivity. So productivity in my 20s, I'd say, or even till my mid 30s, parang the more I get to do in the day, like you said earlier, badge of honor yung feeling ko. But now my perspective has shifted a bit more na parang if I'm able to do more things efficiently and accomplish something, let's say half of the day, and by lunch, everything I set out to do that day, done na. It doesn't mean I should fill the second half of the day with the things I'm supposed to do tomorrow or next week. I'm trying to practice now na, no, I bought that time. I worked hard to buy that time, that afternoon, to bring my kids to tennis or something and watch them the whole time instead of just drop them and leave them. Parang, I was talking to my sister about this just the other day na, that's why I work hard. That's why I work so hard, because I want to buy time. That's my realization.
Hosting is something of a unique art form here in the Philippines. Not just in the skill of interviewing and talking to people, but making them feel comfortable around you. What have you learned from hosting about human nature?
Well, I will share one thing that I've learned about hosting, which is a misconception of hosting, is that you have to be a good talker, which on the one hand, super true. But through the years, I've learned it's equally important to be a good listener. That is, kumbaga, if you speak well, but also listen intently, I think that's a good recipe, especially as an interviewer. About human nature, I guess something that I've seen throughout the years is we are all more alike than we are different. And what I mean by that is it's easy to watch someone on a screen and judge them by how they look or news you've heard about them in the past. But when you really get to know their story, parang pare-pareho lang talaga tayo. Lahat tayo may pinagdadaanan, no matter how seemingly perfect someone looks from the outside. We're all just figuring things out. Like, it's surprising that even the most accomplished people I look up to, kunyari they did an interview or a talk, parang after the talk, they'll go up to me and say, okay ba yun? So parang we're all just like still, and parang when I heard that, I was like, really? You're so amazing. And then after, you still have like that little doubt if you did well. Kasi for me, it was amazing. Yeah, we're all just the same in that we're all just like figuring things out and struggling with something that may be very, very similar to someone across the room.
Would you say that being able to talk to someone before pre-social media and the preparation that comes with that is different to now? Like, I'm sure it is because of the availability of information, but in the way that you approach people, in the way that you get to know them, like, how has that changed?
Changed a lot. Now there's that element of medyo parasocial. Like when you said hi to me kanina, it was the first time we met in person, but like I feel like I've known you because I've been following you on social media, and it sort of feels weird kasi like we know nothing about each other, but because we see each other posts online, it's like feeling mo alam mo na yung history. Feeling mo kilala mo na siya. So that's definitely one thing that's very, very different now from before.
I know that meron kang mentorship with Tito Boy Bunda. Ano yung pinaka-importanteng leksyon na natuto niya sa'yo about this profession?
Oh gosh, a lot. So, Tito Boy has been my only manager since I started. And siguro two things. One is, when I started in the industry, pag lumalabas ka sa TV, the expectation was that you can act, you can sing, you can dance, you can host, you can do everything. Kasi artista. And I specifically remember that when I met with Tito Boy, I really told him, sabi ko, I'm not interested to act. I don't know how to sing or dance. Wala akong talent doon, but I'm interested to host. And instead of being a manager that said, no, you have to do everything para kumita, para sumikat or whatever, he just told me that I'll support you, but just know that if this is the only thing you'll stick to, there won't be as many opportunities as if you did everything. From that moment, I felt so supported because ni-real talk niya ako. Meaning, there would be seasons na wala kang regular show, but then you'll have a show again, and then not like an artista na parang pwedeng sunod-sunod, dire-diretso. And now, looking back, I value that advice so much because more than fame or money, my goal in this industry has really just been to learn, to connect, to get the respect of my peers, and longevity. I mean, I wouldn't exchange the longevity of my career for any other fame before. Second, that I carry to this day, he has always told me this tip. Sabi niya, to be interesting, you have to be interested. And that has been a game changer for me because in our work, sometimes we feel na, oh, you're given this big star. Of course, everyone will be interested in that star. And then you're given a not so big star. Oh my gosh, how will I make this person interesting to the viewer or to the reader? And his advice made so much sense because if you as the storyteller are so interested in who you're talking to, it will make the viewer or the reader also feel like, wow, really? Parang gusto ko din malaman yung genuine curiosity niya about the subject. And it applies not just to interviews, it has applied to even shows that I do that are news reports, reality shows, talent competitions. Na-apply ko siya sa lahat talaga.
He's been there since day one. And even during your Pinoy Big Brother days, there was an interview where you were saying that you really didn't want to be on PBB, but he encouraged you to go. And you've been now hosting the show for 19 years, which is crazy.
That's so crazy.
I know you've received a lot of criticism from your season, and that was 20 years ago?
That was 2006. So yes, 19-ish, almost 20 years ago.
I feel like that still follows you up until this day. I'm wondering what the show taught you about how Filipinos treat each other, especially in an environment as ruthless as PBB, which to some people is, a ruthless environment to be in.
With how people treat each other, what I have learned and experienced firsthand and seen with every batch that came after me is that outside noise is really noise. Meaning, every batch of housemates, I think and believe, if you ask them how they are, yung sila-sila lang sa loob, they all love each other, they all treat each other like family. Sure, they drift apart after the show, but like when you put us all together in a room again, there's that shared experience that you actually live together 24/7 for a moment in time. And sila-sila, or kami-kami, you're okay, your batch of housemates. And it's really shocking when you go out and ang dami na palang sinabi ng buong mundo about you. Which is tough, especially for this newer generation of housemates na may social media na nga. But yeah, outside noise is noise. That's why we keep reminding every batch that goes inside the house that to hold on to that friendship that they built inside. Kasi whether or not they see each other regularly after, there will always be that shared experience and genuine love that they had for each other when they were together. So when we are forced to be with a specific group of people in just one space for a time, human beings will really get along. Humans will really find that common denominator and stick to that and make that their glue rather than use the tiniest little things to tear each other apart. That's human nature. I believe it's always more good than evil, talaga.
As a host now, like, what is it about the show that draws you, like, nearly 2 decades later? Because in season 1, there was an appeal because it was so new, and it was uncharted territory. But now you have some years with you. What does the show offer you as a host and as someone that has gone through that already?
Yeah, I think I go back to my answer to your question earlier about all of us were really just the same. I think it has been fascinating to see through the years very, very similar stories, pero iba yung itsura ng tao, pangalan, ibang city where they were born, ibang pamilyang kinalakihan. But in essence, the core, ang daming pareho. I love being part of the show because I, for one, love seeing people's lives transformed whether or not they win, whether or not mag-artista sila pagkatapos, it's undeniable how many lives that house has changed. Career-wise, yes, but also I feel confidence-wise, and lahat naman tayo, di ba, we always go through that phase of, I want to know who I am. Parang some people go soul-searching abroad or go on a trip around the country to find themselves. And the house does that on steroids because now you're forced to be with yourself. No phone, no TV, no calendar, no contact with your loved ones or the outside world. That forces you to sit with yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, and who you are. And so you really figure out a lot of who you are after that house. And then second, of course, is as a host. I love being the medium in which we're able to tell these inspiring stories because so many of them have gone through great challenges in life, came out stronger, came out better, and a lot of the viewers are drawn to them because they're inspired by that. So to be able to be the one who tells that story is, for me, such a gift talaga.
You've said before that hosting is a medium for storytelling, na hindi ikaw yung bida. Yet you've also shared that you're quite introvert and shy. How have you navigated this contrast in your career?
I'm super an introvert. As in, to this day.
You don't seem like it.
Baliktad pa. Like, when I was younger, I thought I was an extrovert. When I started in the industry, I thought I was an extrovert. Until when I was in my 30s, I realized, hindi pala, I'm like a major introvert. And rewinding back to when I was in school, I was really a shy person. I really wouldn't talk much, or like in the barkada, ako yung laging nakikinig, nakikitawa, and then everyone else is the one that does the talking. That's why I like my job as a host, is because hindi ako yung topic, except in this particular situation. But kumbaga, I would rather be part of it, but the spotlight is on someone else. And how I've navigated it is I've oddly found this like on button that when I have to turn it on, meaning that more extrovert, socializing self, I can. But then all those memes about if you're an introvert and you get in the car and you close the door and you're like, like that's so me. That's super, super me. So yeah, I've just learned to turn it off and turn it on when needed.
But I suppose you enjoy it.
I do.
It's a funny thing. It's like you don't want to do it, but you do. What is it about that does that fuel you to like do things, or it's a complicated emotion?
Yeah,
like as
is.
someone who unpacks a lot of vulnerabilities alongside people, like how do you make sense of that for yourself?
I think I've tried to stop making sense of it because it is so ironic na parang I'm very shy. If I'm new in a room, hindi talaga ako yung unang makikipag-usap sa ibang tao. If hindi mo ako kinibo, hindi kita kikibuin. And it's not because I'm suplada or maldita. It's just because I'm shy and I like keeping to myself. But yeah, I guess that's it. It's because I enjoy the work so much. Big factor also when you love the people that you work with. And so that's why I'm able to turn it on. And I've learned to live with that irony na an introvert in an extroverted type of job.
Mm-hmm. I want to go back to what you were talking about earlier regarding productivity, because a lot of the things that you're talking about now, like often having imposter syndrome, or at times having imposter syndrome, like being a workaholic, like grappling with the sort of intergenerational values that have changed over the years. Like now that you're 42, like what was the point in which you felt like you needed to change a lot of the things that you were doing? Like, because for me, I feel like I'm going through that, and it's because I quit coffee, and
How do you do it?
It's not that easy.
I can't.
2 months, I just had a headache. I had to weather through, and I was starting this job, so just had a headache for
Is it
2
health
months.
reasons?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's helped my health, but it's also changed my brain chemistry to a point that I really underestimated because I was in nightlife. I had really poor sleep. I no longer had coffee. I drink matcha now. But without coffee, I realized that it was only food and sleep that could help me feel productive.
Okay.
So, because that changed my brain chemistry, I felt like I made all these decisions about my own productivity, like how I'm going to spend my life, like how healthy am I going to be, like how does that change my own self-worth and value? How do I want to live when I'm 50, when I'm 60? And you said something in your video also about how, like, it's no longer about like looking sexy or making a project out of yourself. It's like, how do I want to live the rest of my life? So with like the way that you carry yourself and the way that you work, what was the point in your life that you felt like you needed to make all these decisions?
Oh, shucks. It's hard to pinpoint when because I feel it was gradual. For me, it wasn't like burnout moment that I wanted to reset everything. I've actually never experienced burnout, luckily. I've experienced maybe feeling super anxious or overwhelmed, but never burnt out. But maybe it was around the time that I had my second kid. And I say that because parang after my first kid, I feel like I was still that person nga na parang, no, I have to do this because it's tied to my productivity, tied to my value, tied to my self-worth. But nung dalawa na sila, and so we were a family of 4, and the more time I wanted to spend with them, that's when it started to shift. Yun nga, like I mentioned earlier, in this stage of my life, time talaga is the ultimate luxury. Like the more time I have to myself that I can freely spend on whatever I want to do, yun yung ultimate luxury for me. So around that time, although I can't say I've totally shaken off that feeling of productivity and value, I think that's such a Zennial and Gen X, maybe even millennial belief ingrained in us na parang our value is tied to how much we can do or our work. And I'm glad the newer generation hindi na ganun masyado. So yeah, I'm definitely trying to learn from the newer generation as well.
Do you see yourself pursuing this type of career forever? Like, is this your North Star? Or like, because of these shift in values, do you see yourself doing something else that maybe isn't as intense?
Honestly, I see myself doing this type of work, meaning media work or television work, for as long as television will have me. I enjoy it so much. And like I said earlier, parang the people I work with literally feel like family to me. However, I know that whatever I will continue to do in the next decades of my life will still be very much related to that storytelling medium aspect or role. Everything naman I've done, even the jobs outside of television, dun pa rin related. Gathering stories, writing those stories, telling those stories. So for sure, that's the North Star. I don't think I'll ever stop doing that. What form it will take 10, 20 years from now, that's what maybe we don't even know yet.
Do you often think about maybe a quieter life? Because there's this like contrast that you seem to have as a person. Do you ever think about that?
I think the great thing about my choice to be a host, ibang-iba ang attachment of viewers to actors. I don't know if this is just me in my head, but with actors, there is a sort of like fandom with a sense of parang ownership or kinship that's so close. That's why dinudumog ang tipo ng Ann Curtis, Piolo Pascual, etc. But parang in my line of work, I'm still able to enjoy a lot of privacy, which is why I think I like the lane that I'm in because I'm able to lead a public life, but at the same time, I'm able to really have boundaries in terms of my private life.
A while ago, pinapag-usapan natin na what you wish you knew when you were in your 20s. But now, at 42, what is something that you wish you knew about the future?
Okay. I wish I knew or could know if our daughters would find what they really love doing in life and get to do it. Now that our panganay is 9, my husband and I often explain to her that whatever it is that you want to do, we just want you to figure it out what you love doing and hopefully get to do that, because both of us, me and my husband, have been very lucky to have careers that we love. And so I wish masisilip ko yon if they will get to that point to find what they love doing and have that as their career. But at the same time, I don't think I really would want to find out because it might spoil everything. I think I would rather figure it out along the way.
It's a nice way to end the conversation. Thank you, Bianca.
Thank you, Sai.
Thank you. It was such a nice conversation.
Oh, I'm so honored to be here. Salamat.
Thank you.